Welcome back. Yes, today we'll talk about React hooks. That's the most recent version of React. Let's go to the react.org website and see what's the latest. I think I want somewhere else. Let me just write React and it will take us there. Okay, now the latest version, as you can see, version 17.0.2. And if you click over here, it will show you the different versions of React. Yeah, of course, these are not all the versions, I believe. I don't know where they put, but as you can see, most of the recent versions are over here. Yeah, so by the end of the training, it's a good idea also to come here and go through the documentation, because they add new features, and it's good to go through. Yeah, I recommend. So today we will talk about React hooks, and let's start by creating a folder, WEEK-7. Great. And you know that what I will do is npx create React app, and I will call it, yeah, hook, React hook app, React hook app. Yeah, this is the app. So this project will be created in this folder. Great. So we have to wait for a while, and after some seconds, it will be downloaded. But in the meantime, we can talk about it, and we can see the React. In React hooks, the way we handle state is different. There's the so-called use state. And the way we handle also component lifecycle is a bit different, and we call it use effect. We will not talk about use context in this training, but these are the React hooks mainly we are going to talk about. Yeah, so these are very straightforward, and I hope you will enjoy working with React hooks because it's really nice the way it's structured. Of course, you enjoy React hook if you know the older version, so now you know how to do with that. But yeah, even without understanding how the old React looks like, you can still work on that. I strongly recommend to go through this tutorial, or these 30 days of React tasks. Quite lots of codes, boilerplate. You just copy such a kind of a code and make use. Yeah, it just work. Yeah, for instance, here, we will make use of this. Actually, it has a very good examples. Let's see if it's, yeah, now it's done. Let's go to weeks. We are already in week 7, but the name is CD hook. I think it's React hook app. Yes, then yarn start or npm start. Then we wait for a while, and it will be launched, and it will start spinning. Great. I think in the meantime, it's good to also send this to the left. Yes, great.
So sorry, what did you right.
Where?
Just now.
I didn't write. Just to correct this, no, I didn't write, but we've been waiting for maybe I just wrote this CD React hook up. Then npm start. npm start. Now let's put this side to side. Maybe we can make this a bit smaller. Yeah. Now we don't have to clean here what we have here, like we don't care. And some of actually the codes are important when you deploy them. You know git ignore, so you don't like to, for instance, push the node modules. So you will see that the node modules are excluded. So whenever we want to exclude some file, we put it here and it will not be pushed to GitHub. That's the importance of this .gitignore file. Yeah, and all the packages we install will come here. You will see them. For instance, now if I want to install some package, for instance, you've been talking about npm install Axios. We don't have Axios, you don't see Axios, and we call those actually dependencies. So in the dependencies list, we don't have Axios, but you may see it after installation. So Axios is actually a third-party package. Yeah, but sorry guys, as you can see, I didn't install it in the right place. I should have gone to WEEK-7. And then from WEEK-7, I should go to React hooks, then npm install Axios. Since I just do something strange, there might be node module, so I have to remove the node module from the main folder. Yeah. Now we have to just wait for some time. And after a while, you will see in the meantime, let me check my attendance. Who is here? Okay, good. Yeah, but while it's installing, let's just start. Let's just start adding some content. For instance, where we don't need the spinning thing here, but I want to declare that today, officially declare, we're declaring actually some kind of announcement. So that is going to be React hooks. Yeah, we learn React hooks today. And what is hooks? The way we handle a state is a bit different here. So we will write functional components and we will manage to access the state. Yeah. Import React from React, right? So if I want to add the state in the old way, I have to change this to a class-based component, right? You know how to make a state, right?
Yeah.
You change this, just let me make you a kind of reminder. Class
AP extend React components.
Then extends React component. And then in the stage, you have to have inside
Render.
Yes, and then you have to return this. Yeah, so still. And then you have to have a state somewhere here. State, for instance, hey, count. And then you may say 0. Yeah, your state here. So state is an object, so you can extract it like this dot state, and that means I'm accessing the state object, and from the state object I have to call it by the key, and that's count. And then I should see 0 somewhere here. And if I have some name or color, for instance, my just name, and I can just call that this dot state from the state object. Hey, please give me the name. Yeah. So we can add kind of event handler, and we can change the state. Yeah. Now it's the initial state. We are just seeing the initial state, but we can change the initial state by clicking. For instance, if you remember here, add 1, and we just did what we do actually, this dot set state, and we go, hey, count, this dot state dot count plus 1. Every time we just increase that. So we should have a button, right? And then add 1. Yeah, but just let's make a kind of a break here because I was just writing it like that. So if I say on click, and I can call now add 1. Yeah, I was just trying to write add 1, but this VS Code is so smart, and it knows that I'm using a class-based component. It adds this for me. Look, yeah, so I just write add 1, and it adds for me. And now if you just click here, it just increase the value. Yeah, this is what we learned. But after this, after today, we will learn other way of handling the state. Is it clear from the previous lesson, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let me see who understood this. This is very mandatory when it comes to React. Just type 1 for me if you got this from previous lessons actually. Are you okay with this? Great. And if you remember also, now I saw some links from this site, a dog link, and I can just take this from now, change animal. So change animal. I want to add some. First, I want to have a pet. Maybe I think you guys might be, some people might be a dog person, and some people might be a cat person. So let's just change your, I think this is shorter. The cat is shorter, so I may use, we can start with a cat. Then if I want to display this cat somewhere, image, source, and then you have to do this, and then the alt, and then the alt also have to have, for what purpose do you use the alt? We learned during the CSS lesson, guys.
Accessibility.
Yeah, but what's the, yeah, it's a description for whom?
Animal?
Yeah, for anyone.
For the accessibility.
Yes, that's true. For accessibility purpose, this is very important. Yeah, so if you don't add alt in your HTML or whatsoever, React, or so that means you're alienating the blind people. Screen reader doesn't know what's happening. It doesn't read the picture itself. Instead, it reads what you wrote. For instance, a cute cat or something, then the blind people understand, or the screen reader read that. So now let's access this state.pet. And now we should see actually the image of the cat. What? Image is not defined. Okay, let's see where. Line 19. Yes, we have to debug. Yes, line 19, result, image, and car is not defined.
Spelling mistake that change animal.
Change animal, yeah, there is but nothing to do with that, but thank you for this. So the reason why we don't have this, so I have to get this instead. I can say for the time being just this dot state dot page. It's actually it has to be written like that for the time being. We will come to that one. Now, as you can see, we have just a cat by default, and this is nothing to do with the cat, but it's related to it. Yeah. So maybe I think you want to change sometimes, you know, you may not be a cat or a dog person. Sometimes you change your cat, your cat to a dog, you know. Some days you may change your cat to a dog with some magic wand, I don't know, but let's do that. Let's add a button that change a cat to dog, a dog to a cat. How about that? Do you think it's possible? Yes, with React it's possible, but in real life it might be possible, so don't try it. Maybe it's hard. So I don't know, maybe you can change animal, change page. Okay, but because I didn't like this, I want to put this next to that. Okay, I will ask you a question, but for some reason, let's just wrap this in a div and it will be in a separate. Yeah. Oh, okay, this has to also go to the div there at the top, and we will have a separate thing. And as you can see, both these are actually in line, this non-blocking element. So let's just put this also in a div. And I can wrap this by itself also in a div. Div is our best friend, right? Okay, good. So do you think this works, this button?
No, we need to attach event to the button.
Yes, yeah. First, we have to also see how our change animal code looks like. We have URL of the dog. We have URL of the cat. So, hey, this dot set state dot paid. If it's for the cat URL, then change it to dog. If not, change it to cat. Then we have to set this dot set state, and then paid is equal to the result. And now we have to attach this to the here on click. And this dot, what's the name? Change animal or change paid sounds very good. So you may try if you have a cat or a dog. I strongly recommend you to do this and maybe it works. So now let's try this. Yes. So we have a magic wand that changes a cat to a dog to a cat. Great. So now you know how to do this with the class-based component. And that's not a big deal for you, right? Today, this is not what we learn, actually. What we want to learn is how to use the React hooks. For a reference, let's just have a copy of the code, and I just call it resource. That's how I do resource.js, and I just keep this code there. And now we can destroy this. Okay, destroy everything you have. Of course, we have a backup. Don't do the destroy thing without having a backup. It's not a pleasant thing to do because you lose everything. Well, even we don't really need all this. We can just create const app and just return something like this. I am an app. Yeah, I know you love functional components. So I mean this, yeah, it looks great. But can this have a state? That's the question. Yes, nowadays we can actually get the state. Yes. Yeah. Guys, you can give me for a moment. I have to open the door. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, I import state from the React package. Then this is explicitly returned and it doesn't have a match space to write code. So I think it's better to do this. How do we access the state and make use of the state? Guys, if you remember the destructuring we learned during probes or from the previous JavaScript, here it's important. The way we write actually, hey, const account, yeah, and set count, and in here we don't have set state, and we can say use the state and then make the starting, the initial 0, as you can see now, 0. So actually count refers to now the value of count is actually, if you try to console.log, what's the value of count? Now let's see. I will show you. Let's, as you can see, it's 0. How about if it was like 100? As you can see, it is 100. So that means we have some value here. The value is actually 2 values. One, a value that goes to this, and another value is a function. That function will allow us to change the state. Actually, that function is set state, but we can give it a name, any name we want. Yes, remember this. This is how it works. How about instead of a number, if it was a Boolean here, can it be Boolean true? Yes, it can. If you wait a bit, please do. What is happening? Yeah, sometimes Boolean is hard to see. It is not, but it's there. I think I removed the console.log. Yeah, it's true. How about if it was some kind of an object? Yeah, you will see the object definitely. How about if it was a kind of just an array? Of course, you do that. How about if just an empty string? Then most probably you will see that, but empty string is hard to see. So, but it has been printed and it's here. From line number 7, yes. Now let's do the same thing. You can access like this. This dot state dot count. No. You don't use this dot state anymore. What you should do is just you grab count directly because you access it directly from here as a variable. It's there. So you just say count actually. Yeah. So let's just wrap this with also div because it doesn't sound a proper JSX, and you know what I meant. And by now, because it is just, but how about if I change this to 0? Oh yeah, 0 is here. Nice, but how can we add the button to make it work? And I can, let's just this also maybe in a P and a count. And how does it work? Our button at 1. Do you think if I click on it increases the 0 to some number?
No,
Why not?
because you have not used set counts. So you need to get another cons put the value set count, then
Yes.
it will work.
Yes. On change or on a click, for instance, we can say, I can, yeah, set count, and then I may say count plus plus. No, it's not working. Okay. Assignment to constant variables. Yes. As you can see now, here we have const, and it should be actually let. Now it start working, but still I can see there's some delay. Why? Okay, maybe we can implement this at the, here we can create function const. Now, as you can see, here's a component, but we can say add one, a function that will allow us to do the changing. So we can access set count, and the values actually, you may say count. I think it should work, or maybe we can say count equal to yeah, this should work. And now add one. As you can see, I'm not using this. It's still there from. Yeah, now it's working properly. Yeah, it's working properly. How about if I want to add the dogs? Let image or the page and set page. Yeah, as you can now, you may understand that set page. So this is the name you can give. You can whatever you call, use state, and I can start with some of the already available URL. What was the name? So I can make use of this. Okay, good. Now I can just write here and remove the other, and also remove this. So as you can see, I have initial. The initial is actually a cat. So now let's start with that cat. We can put div image src and alt. Okay, cute cat, but it changes, so we have to think about that. So it's not all the time a cat, sometimes a dog, sometimes. So based on that, we have to also change this value. And this should be just paid, because we don't say this dot state dot that. No, your cat's already, by now you might say, this is much easier than that. Yeah, even you don't believe this, right? Maybe. Anyway, so your cat's here. Now let's add additional button, change page. And we can say, if you click this 100 times, it will never change, but we can write const change animal. And what we can do, we can make use of what we wrote already by changing a little bit, okay? I can just copy this and paste it there. Yeah, we can paste it here. We have the line for the dog. We have the URL for the dog. Now, instead of this dot state dot pate, hey pate, do you have the cat? if you have the cat, please change it to dog. But if it's just if the pet is just a cat, it's changed to a dog. If it's something else, it's changed to a cat back. So this is how it works. Instead, now we don't use state, instead pet, and we don't use the curly bracket. We just pass the value. So we just pass the result. So that now and we don't use this anymore. No, this. Okay, I think now it's.
Sorry, could you share that change animal code?
Yes.
Thank you.
Maybe I think it's good if I share with you the whole of the state area.
I didn't attach event.
Hmm?
No, it didn't attach and click the button.
Yes, you're right. I will attach that after I share this. I'm sharing it on Telegram. Yes. Great. So now let's attach here on click. And then what you should is just change page. Yeah. Now let's see if it works. Yeah. Line 29, change page is not defined. Change page. It's still animal. Change page. Now, if we click, we have, yes, the magic wand is turning a cat to a dog and a dog to a cat. Great. What do you think?
Is there any possibility to remove let and put cons there?
Okay, let me think about that. No, no, because what's the difference between let and const? In this case, no, because we want to mutate this value. We want to change this value.
Sorry, and what about URLs?
The URLs can be, yes, you can change this to a const. Yeah, this can be changed to const, no problem. This can be changed to a const. This can be also changed to const because we're not going to use it anywhere. But this, as you can see, I wrote it here, but I'm changing it here, mutating it. Do you see that? Yeah, I'm changing it. Okay, now let's go to our favorite. Now we finished the use state. Of course, we'll come to that also with the form. How do we handle it with the form, guys? Maybe I think we can do more with the form before we move to the use effect. How about if you have a form, let's go to the div, another div, and input. Text, and of course you may have this, yeah. Then if you remember, we need a value, and the value should come from state dot something, yeah. Now let's also put something here, maybe a let value, set value, and we can start use state. In this case, we can start with an empty value. Yeah. Then on change, we have to handle here on change or handle on change. You can handle change. You know all these things by now, right? So now let's see just by console.log target.value. Yeah. And then what is this? Yeah, everything is okay. Maybe something I didn't finish here. Yeah. So let's apply here on change. we call to this, but yeah, I'm still in old-fashioned way. Just handle change, yeah? I wrote this and just I'm calling here, nothing, just to see what's happening actually. Handle change is not defined. I think there's some typo, and yeah, because I should say const. So this is just a proper function. So I have to define it properly. And if you see, if I write something here, most probably you will see it. I'm writing the, yes. By the way, this value is not coming from the state because I didn't give it yet. I didn't give anything yet. By default, by nature, input text input field, it just remember it has a memory. So now let's fix that data, that the value. For instance, if I say value, if I say just empty, if I put just empty, if I write, no, it doesn't change. But instead, actually, I can just get the state. What's the state actually? A value. We call it value. Now I can access what I'm writing. I can access what? Yeah, I can't access it. Why? Because we didn't configure it here. So I should say set value and the value which is coming from here. So I call this e.target.value. Yes, I'm replacing this value. After this, it will keep working. Now I will show you. I love React. And since we removed also the console, yeah, and now the two-way data binding, for instance, if you want to see what we're writing, you can say P and value, and then you will see what you are writing there.
Would you go just a little bit slower? I'd like to type along.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm coming back connection, right? I know. Okay, so as you can see, the value, and now if we write, we can see to write. Yeah. Okay. Now, how about maybe, let's just make this.
Sorry,
Yes.
I'm still in the under the function above. Yeah. Can we instead of let here, can we use cause?
Where?
Value, line 5. Because I think if you use cause, it should work.
In this case, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Line 5.
You don't have to really, there's not much difference between let and const.
Okay.
And,
I say, okay.
yes, there's no much difference between let and const. Even if you don't know what to use, if you don't know, if you don't have any idea what to use, go for let. That's the safest option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I use cause, it's working. So that's why I asked.
For this one, it should work. No,
I mean the value for the value.
Yeah, it works. The reason why actually we didn't reuse it. I didn't reuse the value. If you see, instead I used something else.
Yeah.
Here I have used it, and let me think if there's a way I can skip without. No, here as you can see, I can't get this data from anywhere else, the count. So I should start from the count I have. But this one actually comes from the input data. So there's I don't touch it. I don't have to reassign that. So if there's reassignment or reuse of that variable, so you should avoid now. But how about if you have many datas, many input fields, like now let's change this instead. Let's add also placeholder, first name. Yeah. And again, oh yeah. So you may have first name and last name. Yeah, of course, let's just make it a bit elegant. So we can add a div and we can add a label. For some reason, my label is the first name. And we can just add and for HTML. Is that? And I call it first name. And the ID for this first name. Do you know why we make this? Do you remember why we make this?
To be different.
No, what this for HTML, this the for and the ID. If you remember to connect, for instance, when let's see, when the user click here, I think what was the it's something like this. How is it? HTML4, yeah. So the purpose of this and this is to connect the level and the input field. Look, it's now focused. Look at it. Yeah. So that's it. It improves user experience. It is very good. So I prefer to use this, and maybe if we want to add, for instance, class name, we can call it form group, and then you can make some CSS and look good. We can just apply some CSS here because the form group the display, for instance, we don't have to, as you can see, these guys are both are inline block and the display flex. And we can change the direction by changing flex direction to column, yeah? And then it will start. Yeah, I was expecting a change, but it didn't. Why? Let's see. We have a label and we have this and form group. Is that what we call it? Form group. You know what I do most of the time when I don't see any change? I apply border, 2 pixels, solid red. Oh yeah, so our CSS hasn't been applied anywhere. That means, so it has been removed. Oh, it's here actually. But why it's not applied? Let's figure out.
Do we put the class in the right place?
Okay, let's see. What is this file? Where is it? Yeah, it is. And let's see the class name and is here. Yes, I'm interested in this for group. Well, let's see, just select the input and maybe if I say border, the pixel solid green. Sometimes when I don't say anything, this is how I do. Why? Oh, I think some kind of, it was a stale, so it was not just for some reason. I had to refresh it, that's the problem, but it was working. So as you can see now, it has been already changed to this. But if you want the input just to be a kind of, maybe we can actually change the input, which a kind of 50%, and it will not be that much. Yeah, again, I have to refresh to make it a bit lower, as you can see. And yeah, if I want some padding, I can add 5 pixel up and the bottom and 3 pixel in the, yes, as you can see. Of course, you can add some padding for the whole, you know, this border box sizing, border box. This is very important. And I think it's also good to remove the margin, the default margin to 0. And it's good to work on the body then. But now you can change the margin just from the body. For instance, if I want 50 pixel, something like this, but we are not just. So as you can see now, I have a label, just the label. I can add also margin bottom 5 pixel. Okay, let's make it bigger and see the difference. I'm expecting, oh, I have to refresh. Margin top, bottom, I was thinking to say bottom. And I have to refresh again. As you can see, it's too far, so I'm expecting 5 would be very good. Yes, then this will apply for everything. What we do is actually copy and paste. Yes, you copy this, and then you don't need all this. What you should change, last name. That's the power of CSS. Once you make it, last name, and also last name. Have you seen? No, it looks somehow okay, yeah, kind of okay. First name, last name. But how do we handle these two data? Both of those two. And even we can add at least a country for this person, and at the same time think about how can we handle the state. Until that, I will copy this for a country. Yes, tell me. Now I have 3 fields. How do I change? Do you think it's a good idea to say this first name? I can say it first name, and again set first name. Yeah, but by the way, this will work, and we have to change this to set first name. But the problem with this, we have to write, and I think we changed it already. Yeah, but value, oh yeah, instead of value now, I should change that to a first name, but it doesn't work that way, because how about if you have 30 or 40 fields? You should show. So the best way is naming. Do you remember last time we handled it by name, first name? This got a name, and this should get also name, a country. And how about the other one? I think the last name. I think this is last name. I can copy it, but this is going to be last name, and we should give this first name. And then how do we handle that? Okay, instead of actually writing this way, I may say honest form data set form data. And then I want to create an object. Use state an object. Okay, how the object looks like. Okay, let's create the object. We can call this object initial state. And then let's create first name, empty. Yes. Okay, last name, of course, empty again. Country, of course, empty. And the list goes on. And now we can inject this initial state like this, initial state. Or we can just put also, we copy this just and we can put it like this too, no problem, okay? But that looks more clean. The previous looks initial. Yeah, now let's keep it like this. And we will have, for the time being, so what would be the value here? Okay, I will show you. The value of this actually should be for data dot, tell me. I just want answer from you here. So
First name.
yes, we are extracting from that. And then you tell me again here for data dot
Last name.
last name. Yes, great. And then for data again, the country. Because we extract them out. But how? How do we extract? I will show you. We have this handle on change or handle change. So let's do something there. Now let's remove this because we can't use it anymore and study what is happening there by a.target. Yeah, so whenever we touch, what do we get for value 44? So we have to remove that. We don't have any, yeah, we don't need this anymore because what? Cannot read property first name of undefined, and that is why not 53. No, shoot. Okay. No, it should work.
We have not yet used set form data.
Hmm?
We have not yet used set form data, yeah.
Oh, but we don't have to use it.
Okay, okay.
Because we should like get empty data from that, and It's not working. My this React, since it's not working properly. What I could do, I'm gonna restart because I don't see any bug there. Oh, I see. I think there is a typo. There was a typo. Yeah, but there's no typo there. Okay, let's get closer and look at and also see under the console what's the main. Uncode typer cannot read property first name of undefined 53, and let's see that again. How it should okay, then let's see what we got from console.log form data. Of course, everything's crashing, so. How? Use state.
Maybe this and set from data, the brackets should be another brackets.
Where?
From data set from data should not brackets be just square brackets.
Oh yeah, great. Thank you so much. Yes, Maria got or debugged what we're trying to do, because this is not how we destructure a state. This is not how, it's an array, so we have to destructure it like that, okay? And that was the reason, and that such kind of a bug is actually take you a day or half a day, because it's hard to see it and notice it. Yeah, so the way to destructure it in a wrong way. Now let's see, but now as you can see the empty data, which I'm consoling from here, yeah, it's after when we touch this, when I touch this, first name should be populated. When I touch this, last name, and when I touch this, country, if I touch all of them, or if I put data into all this field or keys should have values. Let's see. Okay, but first by doing this, let's just see e.target name. That means I am trying to check which target we are touching, and e.target value. And what's the value also now? I'm writing, and you may see, as you can see, first name was touched, and Asavenet, last name Itai, and the country is Finland actually, because there is this field. So, but you don't see the value here because we didn't use the set state yet, but in the back, have you seen? So how do we make use? By the way, we can destructure from e target like this, const name and the value. We can destructure it from e.target. E.target got this name and value, and then we can say set form data, and then we can say dot form data. What do I mean by doing this? Guys, tell me. Do you remember? I'm spreading I'm spreading what I have here. Do you remember the spread operator? Okay, then I may use name. What is the name? So now if the value of the name, the name is going to be a key, and then I will assign the value. With this, actually, I can, now if you see now, Sabina, look at it. If you see already, yeah, as if you see now, the state is a bit different, and country, Finland. And now if you see the object is completely different, now let's properly that. Yes, yeah, this seems ready to be shipped. Yeah. Now this beautiful line of code, it's not only for these fields, actually this work for everything. So what can we do? We go to one of the days. Do you remember this? Some days we wrote a big, I don't know, which day was it? Routing lesson is, it should be here, actually. Before routing, we had a form, add student. So I can just take this state, yeah, like this, copy, and then tell me where should I put it, yeah, here. It looks good, right? And then again, yeah, who doesn't like copying everybody? So now let's also take this, and this, but why? Just everything, the four. So in that case, it will be easy for us. Yeah, we have to give again for, we don't even need this because we have the four. Yes, now it should crash. We have to fix it. Do we need another module? Or what's the problem here? I think I forgot to bring that form. Oh, whatever. So, yeah, because I just copied. Yeah, we copied, but this doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work because of many reasons. One, there is JSX, one of the div is not closed, so we have to figure out that. If you see, maybe I think we need another div. That's what I felt. Yes, we fix, but that's not the only thing. Still, it doesn't work. Another thing we should fix, you may see, do we have this? Do we use this? Do we use this?
No.
No. So the first thing we should change, even in here, by the way, even you don't write handle change, even it's so fancy just to write it on. On change is actually a kind of a reserved word inside, but you can call it on change. Yeah, that's a very good name. And then what I do, where does the form start? Yeah, the form starts in here anyway. Am I? Okay, then I can just select this, actually this one, and change all of them at once. Yes. So on change. So it is so easy to remember, on change to on change. Yep, great. Do we have this handle submit? No, we don't have. I can take it from here and put it here as in a function. But we don't have this, so let's comment it out. There's nothing to do with this for the time being. Let's just comment out. And instead of handle submit, we can just call it honest on submit. And no this because I just on submit. What change we should change? Another, this state, all this, let's change this, all of them at once. We call it form data dot. Oh, now something showed up. That means almost everything has been changed. Yeah, but that might not. I think by now it's just everything should start working. And let's see. This is how it looks like. It's so crazy, but what we should do, let's do this, adding the I thought, yeah, here.
We need to put form group.
Last name for group. And I thought we have also this label. And first name. And number 4. Yeah, for something like that. So if at least if we implement for into form group, at least I can add these two for this one too. And we have to have a label, and I can just copy and implement this here and call it name. Okay, last name. First name, last name. And then actually we can apply a gap between the form group. We can add margin top, for instance, like we can put a 5 pixel and then auto. Yes. By the way, touching the CSS is just messy, so it form group. Oh, I didn't have here form group. I can call this one P. Maybe gender. Why we didn't have a gender? Even it's not a good idea to because this is scattered everywhere because of the default CSS we have from here. And let's just remove this.
Maybe you need to refresh.
Yeah, thank you so much. It should work without refreshing, and as you can see, but no, it makes just refreshing. This has been pushed for some reason, but we have to just let me see why. Yeah, I got it. So we can just remove the group from the gender, and it will be okay. But okay, I see. And okay, yeah, the label. because I'm using this label, so it's affecting all the labels. So I can say dot form group labels only. That will help me to avoid. And also input dot form input. Yeah, I think if we work on CSS, it will take us forever. So I avoid applying anything over here, okay? So let's see if it has some data over here. I can just select I think I'm interested in Python and I have all the skills. And let's see, I am really interested to learn Python and data. Yeah, so by submitting, we should get a data here. You will see, you see already the data, as you can see. Okay, country Finland, course Python, CSS, yeah, first whatsoever, but why the CSS like that? We don't need to be like this. We need it to be, yeah, so we have a bug. Have you seen it, guys? We need all the skills should be inside here, not like this. How do we fix that? We should check. That's the only bug we have. Okay. Do you know why? Because even when we copy, we didn't like get closer to our previous code. That's why we got such a kind of a mistake. Let me show you. Because here, even the previous code is a bit different. If the type is checkbox, go for this. Else, go for this one. This is how it says. So now instead, I will just copy this code and we will work on there. Where, of course, here. Okay, I will have a closer look at type. Can we also destructure the type from here? Actually, we can destructure the type from e.target. Okay, then I can say if type equal to checkbox, I can say instead of this dot set state, you can say set form data. Instead of doing all this, what we should do first, this, okay. Yeah, I think I should copy also the this, not this, form, sorry, dot form data. I'm copying it. And then from that, again, the skills, from skills also what we should do, it's a bit tricky. This part, this form data dot skills, and then instead of e.target, we can just use, because we destructure it, name and then the value. Yeah, no, I will explain to you. Okay, what are we doing? First, we just copied the whole data. Yeah. Okay. Then we also copied the from the whole data, we copied the skills part. And from the skills part, we mutate the one which is changing this. Then after we change everything, we assign to the skills. And these skills modify the form data. I don't know if you got it, but if you understood this, the structuring thing, that's what we're doing now. Again, let's set form data. Now again, in this case, no problem. What we should do is actually, of course, this dot not this, dot again, dot for data. And then instead of e.target, we have just the name and then just the value. I think we fix with this thing, so we don't need this line. Yeah, this handle anything, everything. So let's try. I think now we have, I can try to see. I think that's the previous touch, so we have to touch it again. If you don't touch it, it will just remain the same sometimes. Okay, let's do the JavaScript. I just love React. Who doesn't? Now let's see the state. As you can see, we have everything, but at the same time, we have also here this. This is not something we need. Who noticed this problem? I mean, who understand the problem? Who could help me? Have you seen this? The CSS and HTML and JavaScript and React, we need it only inside here, but it's also there. So when we mutate, we didn't do it in a smart way. I have a bug here. Help me to fix. I think I don't need it. To be honest, even I have a problem to see the bug here. How did I wrote previous code? Now, do I have here even on 30 days of Python? Let's see, on 30 days of React. If we go to form, hooks, boilerplate, if we see no, that might not be enough. React or with hooks. Well, this is so short. Well, but it doesn't have, but I have somewhere. Yes, I think this looks what I was looking for. Since I checked. Checked name. Yeah, we can also still destructure checked, and let's see what we got there. As you can see, it's empty. We didn't touch it. Now let me add. Okay. Of course, what's this course and why is it course is coming? Because guys, if you remember, I just copied it from the previous. Now we have this course because we've been working on that course. We don't have course in here for the time being, but gender and all those things. Let's see. And we have to select also to get some data. Test. One gender should be selected. Yeah, as you can see now. Yep. As you can see, I have everything in the way I want. So it seems now this data is ready to be shipped to you want, wherever you want. This is really good structure. So yeah. But why even with the correction, I didn't use it, but still it's working, right? But even, let me see. Well, it's too big to my screen. First, I have to assign. Yeah, I have to write it because on change happens when you write. And mail and Python. Okay, with this, and let's see. Now let's do the last. I think it's working, so we don't need this, the checked, because this is just okay. I will show you. No need of using checked whatsoever here. Just this is doing the magic. Yeah, I think we have to have a gap. So what did we learn? We learn how to use the use state React hook. After the break, we will use effect. Actually, this is related to almost React life cycle. So you don't have to worry about a React life cycle. This will act as mounting and updating and unmounting. Everything will be just handled by this. And the way we do, actually, we can say use effect. Yeah, we can just do the the importing like this, and we implement it somewhere. For instance, somewhere here, use effect has you call it, it's a function, and it has anonymous function, and then you write your effect here. You write your effect here after the break. Okay, let's have a 15-minute break. See you after 15 minutes. If you have a question also, we can start from there. Okay, good. I promised to start the use effect, but I thought it's good to add some validation for the form. This form, for instance, instead of accepting like everything, we can restrict actually the users from adding what they want. So let's add some validation. I have a validation here, which I wrote at some point. I will show you how it was written. If you see, we have a state here. Of course, this is a class-based component, but it doesn't matter. Actually, for this, even we have for pose, I can change it from here, and I can see the hooks. As you can see, we have here touched. What is touched means actually? Touched means, for instance, when you touch it, if you don't touch it, it should be okay. But after it is touched, it should show something. For instance, after I touched it and I run away, then it should say this field, this should be a required field or just some feedback. So that's why that. Is it touched or not? And then we have this handler, a blur. So in JavaScript or on HTML, this we call it focus. This is not a focus, but when I am out, that is a blur. So the event is on blur. Okay, then let's add on blur. Let's just add something on blur. I can write here on blur. Honest or handle on blur or just on blur. You can say event like this, then console.log. If like I am blurred, that means I'm not focused. Blurred. Yes. So I will show you now. This is on focus, and also if I do something, it's on change. But now if I leave this, there should be. Of course, it's not this. I didn't connect. I didn't attach it with any of the. So I can say on blur is equal to on blur. So I will show you again. And now, no, I'm out. I am blurred. Have you seen? So if it is not touched, you don't see this. But after touching and when you move out, there will be a blur. So let's go here and add touched. Touched, and okay, first name empty, or maybe we can say false. We can start with a false. Last name, is it touched? No, it's not touched, so we can start with a false, all of them. It's because it's not. But if it's touched, we should give some feedback. Okay, now we may say, so what happened if we touched it? So what's going to happen? Let's see. Then this, not this actually, set form data, we can say dot form data. You know what this means? Yeah? No, everybody knows what this means.
What was the 3 dots again? It was some shortening.
Oh yeah, so I think
Spread.
okay, a spread. So I have to just explain everything about those things, okay? Cornest. Okay, now I have like nums, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Now, for instance, if I want to say another cornest and nums2, I may say, hey, ... nums. That means I am copying what I have here, and then after that, I may say 5, 6, 7. So what do you expect from nums2? Nums2 is actually, have you seen the trick now?
Okay, yeah, I see.
Yes, this is when it comes to arrays. Let's do for objects too, yeah? Now we have const user, user, and the user actually it's like user 1 maybe. We can say name, I can go for, and skills, maybe I can say HTML, good, CSS, good something, yeah, and maybe a country, it's empty. Now maybe I want to modify this user. First I have to copy it, and then I have to modify this this country, and then the country should contain Finland. Let's do that. Then what you should do, const user 2 is going to be the copy of this, but this will have Finland. Yes. So what you should do, dot user 1. That means we are just copying everything, and then country Finland. That means after you copy everything, when you change the value of this inside, this will be mutated there. Then if you say user 2, actually it has what user 1 had, and in addition the country is mutated, country Finland, name and skills. So it's a way of copying, yeah guys? So we just copy everything. So now when I'm doing this ... from data, that means, hey, please copy everything what we have here. Is it clear, guys, now?
Yeah, it's very clear now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. And then the second step is actually, since we are on Blur, we are interested more of, are we interested in this area or this area? We are interested on this area. We just want to change this, because on Blur, we change one of, like, if it's touched, we want to change it to true. Okay. Then let's see. It's on Blur. Then we can say touched. And then again, we have to say dot form data dot touched. What am I doing here like this when I'm doing this? Actually, I'm copying what we have here. We are just copying that. Then again, name. Then we can say e.target. No, actually true. We just changed to true. Nothing to do with that. But we don't have name, so we have to destructure the name. Const e.name is equal to e.target.value. Because the reason why we change this to true, because our target is just to change this false to true or this to true, any of the values to true. And now I want to show you the state. Now, if I touch this, and if you see the state, I'm expecting first name, nothing. I was expecting first name to be true, but let's see what's wrong with that. Or maybe I think the second. Oh yeah, we made something, but as you can see, it says undefined true instead of first name, undefined true. Why that? Let's see. I think on blur. Okay, I think let me cross-check what we had at some point. It made some similar things. This name true. We have this. It's somehow the same. But why then? Okay, let me see. This dot state, I think this is just a mistake when it was copied. Maybe I think sometimes when it doesn't work, so I have to refresh it. That's the problem. Let's see now. Yeah, the problem is this. The refresh is not, but still actually it's just we're getting undefined true. Why? Let's see. Yes, I can see the mistake I made, guys, because you don't get name from e-target.value, you get name from e.target. When I was destructuring, I made a mistake. Yeah, so that was the mistake. Now let's see, we touched it, so it's blurred. And if you see now, yeah, first name is touched and it's true. Okay, then if it's touched and if it's true, you should say that based on this, if the name is too big, you may say to the users, the name is too big. Or if it's empty, you should say that you should add a value. Yeah, then we have to handle another thing. Let me check that part of the code. To spend much time, I wrote here actually validate a function called a validate. Let's write a function here, constant validate. It's just a custom, we are just making this function, and let's say errors and create an object. As you can see also here, errors, then just first name. Okay, we don't have errors. Last name at the very beginning, we don't have errors. And actually we, at the end, we return the errors itself. I will show you. I'm creating an error and again, returning an error. So if I call this function, what do I get? Guys, you know what you get, right? Just let's see, console.log, validate. What do you get? Tell me, guys. An object containing this. I want you to realize the state because I will show you. Have you seen this? What you see? But it's not only, how about the country? You should also start with a country and with email also. Then, yeah, because if it's not touched at the very beginning, you don't have error. But if, yes, form data dot touched dot first name is equal to true. That means if it is touched, okay. If it's touched, we should change this object. Yeah, what do we say? We may say, for instance, and if it's touched, and if the length of the text is so big, then and form data dot first name dot length greater than, for instance, 8. Well, I may say, then I can modify the errors dot first name. I can say the name is too long. Of course, it's not really long yet, but as you can see now, I'm writing some condition to control. Now you will see that, let's write, okay. The name is too long already. Have you seen? But it's, but let's see the object properly, which name has been, yes, it's, so we have to make use of this. We have to display it where? I want to display it somewhere here. So instead of like writing like that, actually we can write the feedback where? Next to here. Then it's a feedback. We can say this actually form data dot attached. That's not a very good thing. Instead, I can just call this honest errors, because this give errors, right? So I am just invoking it, so I get errors from here. So that's a better way and the best way. So then I can get errors dot first name. Yeah. Now, if you see, yeah, it's already there, as you can see. No, you don't see anything, but now, yeah, because I'm writing next to the last name for some reason. So let's just write it next to, and maybe we can also make the color a bit reddish, and then people can notice it so easily. Color just red. Of course, you will write a very good proper component. Nothing happened. I was expecting. Oh yeah, when you leave, of course, it's the, you see it when you leave. Okay. Yeah, as you can see now, the name is too long. How about if it's too short? Okay. We can also make another condition. If it is touched, yes, and if it's less than 3, I think there are with 2 characters, maybe 2, and yeah, I think just for a testing purpose, the name is too short. Yes, let's do that. And let's imagine now someone just wrote one letter. The name is too short. But now if I write, yeah, it's okay. Now, even if this is actually working, if it's, I can make, if it pass, I can make the border green. Let's make the border green actually. Okay, how do we make that? That's too much task. We have another tasks to do, okay? You can do it yourself, that. Fancy features, but as I told you, for instance, now this is passed, and Yeah, but now it's more than the required, the name is too long. So you can apply for all of them and you can validate, so the implementation we did can be applied for all the fields. So what you need is connecting. For instance, we only applied for the first name. Let's do for the last name. You just put this code here instead of first name, last name, and of course you should add the on blur event handler here somewhere. And of course, again, you have to change also, add additional conditions. So we have for first name, so this is going to be for last name. I can just modify this, last name. Now I have some left. No, only this last name. So the name is too short, yeah. So, but it's good to say the first name, for instance. First name is too long. First name is too short, whatever. Last name is too long or too short. Okay, let's test this now. As you can see, my React is not refreshing by itself, and let's write here. Yeah, for some reason, yeah, maybe like I can start over anyway. If I just write and if I leave, it's to character and it doesn't pass. So, but if I write like this, it's okay. And now, as you can see, it's too long. Yeah, too long. Then again, yeah, maybe if I just yeah, is it working here? Let's see if it's working. Of course, it's working. So you can add whatever. So as you can see, it's working. Yeah, it's too long. Great. We added validation. So that's great.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have one line of code for everything, like last name, first name? Instead of that, maybe instead of use first name is too short, we can use the character is too short. Is it possible to have the same line of code for them?
Let me think. There could be a possibility. There could be a possibility. Let me check. Do we check it? If it was in here, we handle it already. As you can see, most people can't handle it with one line code. And even at some point to write this, it took me like, I'm not sure if it's possible. This one, I was thinking the different scenarios to shorten this. It seems somehow you have to write it. We can destructure it a bit shorter, but not one-liner. No, because at different time we have to modify this, and there's no any way there's no any generic way of handling the keys. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no any generic, but when it comes to handling the on change and on blur, we target them. For instance, e.target give us their name, and we handle them by their name, as you can see. So yeah, it would have been much better that way. Yes, now let's move on to other part. I think the use effect, and that is actually the life cycle, how we handle the life cycle. in React. Okay, can we add another state relates to countries? Everybody here loves countries, and okay, we can say countries and set countries. Yeah, that's really nice because here everybody loves country. Use state, and then I can just start from an empty array. Oh, that's great. And now let's check the lengths of the countries. I have to go all the way down. Maybe we can start working here related to countries here, P and P, lengths of countries, or the number of countries, the number of countries. And you may say this dot state dot countries, and everybody is silent.
I think it's not this state anymore.
Yes, so we just access the countries like this because it's just a variable declared here, and I declared it with a const because as a const because it's going to be an array. And if you see now, the value actually where is it? Yeah, this should be the other side. And then it could be the number of countries because since I'm talking about lengths and I have to use dot length, right? I think there's quite a lot of code. Maybe we have to just take this part somewhere else, some part of the code. Oh yeah, I think we should do that unless otherwise it will be too much scrolling. So what we do, oh yeah, this part, the most responsible part for handling the for, and I just cut it and take it to where here we create a, as you see, no components, and I call it, I have to create add student or add something, add students.js, and then actually we can use RC. I can just put it here. Great. But remember, we have quite a lot of things here related to that for. So all this, I think we can take most of the part and we can destroy the rest. Okay, copy. I think this is the old one. Yes, this. Yes, so as you can see, countries, nothing to do with that, and effect, nothing, and we don't do that, and there's nothing, we need nothing to do with this. Yes, but we need the on change. What else do we need? We have to import the use state. Now this component by itself is a proper component. Yeah. Okay, good. Now let's get back and just focus on only nothing to do with that. And I'm not sure I can keep some of the parts. On change, I don't need any change. On blurring not, and we don't do this. And submit, no submission for validation. I think we have this one in the other. Okay, so we don't need this. Is up to this. No page thing, right? Do we have? Yeah. That it seems. Okay, good. Now this is what we have, and let's see if it works. We have to refresh it. Yeah, I am an app, and we have to go to the countries API. Countries API. Now everybody loves countries, so let's fetch it once more using React hooks. Yeah, I need all of the countries, so I can fetch it from here. Great. Then actually, maybe I can create a function. We don't need this. We have still this thing. No, we don't need that. Maybe I can say const fetch data or countries. I can call it fetch data or fetch countries, whatsoever name. And I don't know, such a nice curly bracket const URL, and then I can just declare my URL here. And then I use the fetch. Hey fetch. Do you remember fetch? And then you pass the URL. And then you call the then call, yeah? And from the then call, actually, you can get the response as in response.json. You change it there. And then after that, actually, you can fetch it as in data, then or whatever. Data, then this is the place where we can set our state. But where is our state? As you can see, it is here actually. Yeah. So set countries, and then we are about to get the data. You just inject the data like this. You throw it. So easy. Hey, data, are you coming? Yes, I'm coming. And then would you please go here and you put it there. But the thing is actually, we need this, the component did mount. Where is the component did mount? Yeah. So we can actually, this help you to handle the component did mount use effect. So how do you, I would suggest to make this at the top to right, then call your fetch here. Fetch data, you invoke it here. Now let's see. What? Okay, object and code error objects are not valid. Where did we do that? Yeah, well, I know that, but where did we do that? So let's see. I have here countries, set countries, and let's wait. Yeah, let me check here. What do we get? Console.log data, because it seems it's not an array what I'm fetching. So yeah, it is up to 13. It is an array. So reject objects are not valid. That's React child. We didn't do, did we? Where? Okay, let's just change this to a string and let's stop it for some time. Sometimes you don't know what's happening. Yes, so it's y. It's y, something like that. Okay. I didn't see. Yeah, because I told you guys we didn't because we're trying to. We should check this the length here, dot length, and that's why it's causing the problem. You know, we are trying to render the object, and that was true. Yeah, good. But maybe if you notice, this is continuously running. Have you seen? Have you seen this moving, guys? This?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's continuously running because of the life cycle. So this life cycle, if you want to use it as in a did mount pass an empty array like this, and that continuous fetching will stop. Now, yes, it is not doing that. And now it's the right time to, why, where is my, oh, for some reason, It's just okay, good. Now we can render it. Yeah. So let's do the rendering. You love rendering, and let's do the rendering maybe somewhere here. We could get the functions we've been using, but we can just hey countries map. Everybody loves mapping here. One country. And from one country, even we can structure the name, the capital, and then for a population, and then again
Language.
language, yes, and then return a list. Let's start with a list and the name, and if we are lucky, we will continue mapping. Yeah, as you can see, from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, we have every country. Then, so I think we had a big success. I mean, it's a hope. So now let's just extract more of the countries. Then I think appropriate structure could be a div, another div, and then here I can go maybe H1, and then I can just put a name to upper case because I want to make it look fancy. Why not? And I can just close, and then the rest it could be other. So capital, and then the population. Population. Where is the population? And then, of course, you can get the flag and language, because countries speak more than one language. So you can do that. The language here, the language needs some work. So think about that. And you have the code already from the previous lessons, and the flag here. And actually, what do you think the best alternative name for this? Because I would say I can pass, because this flag is supposed to be, for instance, I can say name plus flag. So the screen reader will, hey, this is Afghanistan flag, Albanian flag, a Finland's flag, or something like that. So as you can see, I put so dynamically the name with the flag, and if you check, it will have that kind of a name. So as you can see, this is too big. So right away, just let's make this image as small as possible, like 25%, and then it will be just somehow good for the eyes. So this is how you fetch the API from using hooks. Yeah, so now let's do some of the cleaning. Yeah, so maybe this is going to be the class name. I call it countries, and maybe I can just call this class name, and that is going to be oh no, because I think that's just a country. It's a single country. This is a single country, and countries will be wrapping this all together. We dot countries. It's not working. Okay. Class name. Okay, we can render this. And last time also I showed you this. Instead of just writing this, you can take this out and write it as a different function. Const render countries, because it looks more neat. And then you can just write it here separately. And you should return it from here. And you don't have to have this return, and we can make it smaller, but differently. I think I took, so where this, usually a hard time to, we don't have to have this curly bracket, and we don't have to have this. Then instead we can just maybe I think we need this with structured return. So we have oh yeah, we need only one actually, because just to close now. Yeah, so this function is closing here, and we're returning the mapped value of this. You can make it to take like in a data like this, data, and the data will be coming here, something like that. Then you don't worry about. Then what you should do, you come to here and render countries, and the data is actually going to be countries. Yeah, so it takes parameter, as you can see, and then it looks like this. So this function takes a parameter, or you can just make it also a function that doesn't take any parameter. Okay. I think I will just leave the styling for you, or you can add also search bar and to search and all those kind of things. Yep. So what is next? I think maybe just now we wrote this. How can we change this to a custom function? Or how can we use Axios for this? Yeah. If you remember, we already first installed Axios. So what we need is Axios from Axios. Yeah, Axios is so easy to use. Maybe I think I can have a copy of, or maybe comment out, copy, comment out, and then const fetch data. And maybe I can make use of this line. No, not curly bracket. Sometimes I don't know what's written there. Okay, great. Then what we should actually Axios. Axios.get, then the URL. Then you may say response. Then you don't have to go to a second stage. So from here, console.log response.data gives you the data. Yeah, that's how it works. And now we can call the fetch is already called here, and let's see what we have there. Yeah, let's. As you can see, the 250 countries are there, but we didn't set the state. So set countries, we can say response.data. Oh yeah, everything is there. So can we even make this a bit shorter? Because we can write this with async. Yeah, if you use async, you may write this with, you can call it const response and then await. Yeah, I told you that async and await. And this two go together all the time. If, yeah, one doesn't exist without the other, remember. So async and await are so best friends, and they just go together all the time. And then await You don't have to have even the other value, then I can just remove, just you have to have await access get the URL. Then how do you get that? From response, what am I just, now even it's getting shorter. Yep. Well, you have the URL of the API, and then you fetch it. So from response, of course, even you can get the data like this data, and even you can call the name this data, and you can call, and then you pass the data, something like this. Yes, this one is a bit like it doesn't give time, so it's not very promising, as you can see. So it is good to get fetch it as response, Then after that, it's good to get it from the response. The reason why, because sometimes we may try to access it before it is get fetched. That's the problem we had. Okay, so we should handle that. You know, sometimes in some websites, when the data is not loaded, or if it is about to load, you see some spinner. The spinner tell you that the data is about to come or to load, and that gives you some comfort. You know, you don't just wait something for nothing. At least you have some hope of getting some data. Yeah, so we have to add that. How do we do that? Okay, but can we implement also for this one? Let's just comment this out. And for this, the fetch, can we use async and make it also a bit shorter? I think yes. So we can say async, and what we can do is actually const response, and then await. Then we can remove this a bit. Yeah. Then we have this const.response, then const data is equal to await response.json. This is how we get, I think, from this. And let's see, then we don't have to write. And see if it's...
Sorry, are we going to use await 2 times?
Yes, 2 times. Yeah. Response. I have to write it response, because if you remember, we have 2 Zen calls. Do you remember? Here we have 2 Zen calls. So let me show you. Copy, undo, undo, undo. I can get back in time. So have you seen this? Yeah, you have to go one more step. This is how it looks like. Yeah. You have this. This you have, for this you have one await, for this you need another await. So let's get back in time. How do I do? No, it's not like that. Oh, okay, anyway, I have something. I think I copied something. So then I can add async here. And let's see our success. Oh, nothing. Okay, it works. As you can see, it works. So both are beautiful. As you can see, no, it doesn't have much of a difference. But now I want to also show you custom hook. What is a custom hook? As you can see now, this seems it works only not for the country APIs. It could be crypto APIs or a cat API or dog API. For any API, this may work. So if it works, then why we need to write such a kind of a hook? I mean, all the time. So I have a hook, a custom hook I wrote at some point. I will show you. If I have it here, for some reason, it seems it's not around. Okay, I can search it because it might fasten our hook. Custom hook, maybe. Okay, hooks. Yeah, this use fetch. As you can see, this use fetch at the top, import, use state, use effect from React. So we don't have to write this whenever we fetch. So what we should do, we will take the data, everything we have, and maybe we can put it here. Then use fetch and .js. This custom hooks usually the file name should start with use. That's why. So we say import React, and then from that use state. Use oh no. Use state. Use effect. Use effect from React. Great. Then, as you remember, we can export default function. Something. If you see something like this, that is, you want to export as a default. But we should give it a name, and the name is use fetch. But do we have to really write it as in this function? Even I'm not really fond of this function declaration anymore, so I may prefer to write it as in a row function. This is much better. So what did we write? If you remember here, we can adopt maybe. So most companies, they use the Axios. If you remember, I will just take you to npm and see Axios. Have you seen the weekly downloads? 18 million, almost, 18 million every week. So do you think this is popular? Yes, it's a very, very popular package. So everybody is using it, every company is using it, every developer is almost using it. So this much downloads every day tells you that this is a very good package to use. So how do you evaluate whenever you use a package? Check the number of weekly downloads. Yep, that tells something. And even this could be an interview question. So have you ever used a third-party package? How? And why you know if a package is good or bad or something? So yeah, the community, the number of users tells that this is a stable package that has been used by many people for ages. Yeah. So of course, some might be like very new, but it can be also adapted so fast. Okay, now let's go. So what's the point of that? So use the Axios instead of fetch. Then I can say here, I can put that in. What's the other part? Was the fetching this. I can call. So instead of countries, it's better to call it a generic name. So what generic name can you use instead of saying countries? Data and set data. This is okay. You can leave it like that. And now I want to uncomment this. Okay. So we have a set data for some reason. you have this, the initial state, and you have the URL, you have set countries. Instead of setting countries, you set data, and this is good. But did we use the use effect? Not yet. Use effect. Okay. The use effect actually allow us to use this. This was a separate function in the previous here. It was just, if you remember, it's just we have created a function and we call it like this. Let me see in the custom or how we did. Yeah, it's the same as you can see. You have to create a function inside here, and you call it there, and you return the data actually. Yeah, that's very good. So what we can do here, fetch data. Of course, once fetch. So that means all these states. Now this could be outside, but the fetching happens here. And not only fetching, the setting also happens inside, right? We set the data. And as you can see, we are using a wait, so they should have a seek. And then we call this function inside here. This, not this actually, fetch data. I removed something. But as you can see now, even after that, we should return, this should return a data, this data. Yeah, so this, but still it's a kind of sad because this URL is a kind of fixed. Then this function should take a parameter, URL. As you can see, then we don't need this. I can destroy it. So as you can see, URL is coming here. Then what we should do is actually export default and use fetch. Then we can use this to fetch. Okay, now instead of using all these steps, I can comment out this, comment out, but I need this because this is, but I have to also fetch, import, fetch, what is use fetch, after all, components, use fetch, but it's not a component. We have to move it somewhere else. But for the time being, let's just use it. Then we can say const data, use fetch. Use fetch takes a parameter. What parameters does use fetch takes? Tell me, guys.
URL.
Yes, URL. That's nice. So you can just put the URL here and pass the URL, or you don't have to even declare the URL there. Just put it here, and then you will be better off. Okay, then that means you got the fetch data here. So the importance of this, for instance, if you want to fetch a dog, you have here the dogs, the cat, you pass the URL of the cat and you will have the cats, and you will have data of a different kind. Yeah, did you notice the importance here? Now, so we created already here. What did you pass here? So we changed only one thing here. What? Just data.
Data.
That's powerful. By now we should see something, and I'm expecting something. Of course, if you're lucky, you may if you're not, okay, at this time we were not, like fetch data is not defined, countries is not defined. Yes, we have lots of things we should clean. So as you can see, line 28, 53, yeah, because we don't have the name countries anymore, we have a generic name. So this should be data.length, yeah. And also 28, it says that 28, we don't have this, we don't even need this because we have, they use fetch custom hook. And now still we have some bugs, but that bugs, Axios is not defined, yes, because when we create this, we forgot to import our Axios because Axios has been used here, but we didn't import it. Import Axios from Axios. I think this will be the last bug to debug. Oh, do we have still a bug? It's okay. Still we have a bug. What is used but expected an assignment or a function called yeah, where is it? Line 10. Line 10. And we forgot also this, the yes, this is the function, we declare the state, and we have the function as sync. We got it, and we set it, set data, yes, and we fetch using effect, and we return the data. Oh, okay, then I can have a look from a sync.
Maybe parentheses in
No,
phrase data.
Parentheses shouldn't be a problem here. Okay, but I used here, but that will not be a problem. Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, just for an experiment, I want to just copy this and put it there for a while, and if everything works, then yes, of course it should work. And I don't know now, but I want we have to debug. This is how we how you learn, guys. Sometimes it's really hard to see. We have here the state. I can put it in one side. The keyword, yeah, so use state, a use effect we have, tax use we have, and data, set data, and yes, good. I use fetch, we use the function, arrow function, but it's okay, URL, it's okay.
I don't know, maybe we need to put URL in line 14 in the rectangle bracket. Line 14.
Here?
Yeah, maybe we should put URL. I don't know.
That's okay. That shouldn't be a problem. Expected 13 fetch data. Oh, because we didn't call it here. We didn't call it. We should call it. We should invoke it. Yeah. We just we left it like this. It should be called. Yeah, great. Now you learn how to create a custom, by the way, guys. This custom file or function, you can use it in many projects while you are learning now or after you join some software company. Yeah, it's very important. Okay, great. Now let's have a short break of a 5-minute break, and we'll come back soon. Okay, and we will add more topics. 5 minutes. Welcome back. We saw use state, use effect, and now use ref. This use ref. What is that use ref? I will show you how to use. I will come back this again. Actually, as you can see, this is how you extract it. Yeah, you can just go here, use ref. Okay. Actually, we use it to handle input data. For instance, if we have something div, let's this div and input type text, and yeah, we can close this, the type. And as you can see, we can call this like this, wherever you want. Of course, it should be somewhere here. Or maybe you can call it first name. First name. And therefore now it could be like null or empty for the beginning. But here now, if you refer, refer actually first name and first name like this, then you will have actually ref. This should be all the time ref. Yeah, ref is going to be first name. But now now let's see what's the value of. Now I'll show you console.log first name. Which one is it? Now we don't need this. We may get back this, but it's okay. Now you may see, yeah, as you can see, you see the value, current input, something like that. Yeah, so we get the value from that when we click something or when we submit. So we should have a submit, a kind of a submit. Let me show you again. So we should have form, and we should have a button and submit, and you have to have a kind of on submit. Yep, you remember on submit, then on submit. So all the time, whenever you write the on submit, I told you that on submit. What am I talking about here? I try to remind you here. Whenever you use the form and when you try to submit, there is something you should remember here. prevent default. You should force the default property of this, the refreshing property of the submit. On submit, yeah, because here I forgot the const. This is just a proper function. And now, if I click, nothing happens. Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So that's so. Remember this. This is very important. Prevent default. Yeah, but for some reason I don't see any value which is coming from there. I was expecting some data from here. Of course, I have to say console.log, what's the value of first name here? So when I'm expecting if I write Sabine, so usually we get actually the current where this coming to 33. Yeah, as you can see, it's actually coming 33. So maybe I think and let first name, we should get it e dot what is this? But current, I think I can also use the previous example in my 30 days of okay, how was it referred? Actually, here it's a more elegant way of referring, as you can see, ref current value. Yeah, of course, we can say, where is it? Yeah, I can say first name, or I think another good way, maybe I can say ref for first name or something, because if you use a couple of for first name, for last name, it would be difficult, but it could be ref that one and this one also. You have to, when you change that, you should also change this to ref. Then you may get the value ref dot current dot value. Then you can just get the value. Okay, Finland, I'm writing, and when you submit, what? Why I didn't see anything? Okay, ref, it's ref in here, and ref in here too. Let me see. Yeah, maybe the refresh is not working all the time, so I have to refresh it. There's empty value for some reason. Thirty-three. Ref dot current value. What is the use ref? Okay, let me just implement this code right here, since we're also running out of time. I can have, for instance, let's follow that code. We have the if. It doesn't matter if it's null or empty, and it's on click. Okay, let's just implement this to just a button. The button could be outside the form, then we don't have. Okay, and click. So let me see. Here, okay. Okay, it's action on this input ref, and okay. says what? No, that's not what we want. I don't like alert. Console log value. Oh, even that's not working, as you can see, for some reason. But wait, what's the problem here? I can try to, yeah, let's even go to the documentation and use ref. Yeah, so this is how you do useref. If you go, it will show you how to make use. So useref container, useref initial value. For instance, here, yeah, as I told you, input AL, for instance, input first name, input last name, you can say it. Now I can just, I like this code and I have to just take this one and we will make it step by step. We don't go without making this work. Yes, it's somehow the same, but input element. So input for first name, input for, so that makes sense somehow. Then, yeah, why it's going down? Yes, yeah, we copied it from here. Then, as you can see, let's copy this code. And put it somewhere here, overriding the previous code. Anyway, read, oh no. Oh yeah. So as you can see, you need the input ref. Yeah, for ref, you substitute this value, ref, and then this value, you put it there. But I think in the meantime, let me remove this, what I have. Okay, then this on button click. On the button click, focus the input. So what it does actually, it focuses the input, and I will show you. Then we can call this anywhere we want. Maybe we can call it here or write it here. So on button click, what it 38. Ref, we have a ref. There it's yeah, because we don't have a ref anymore here. So, and we don't need what we had before, just what. So as you can see, I wrote it in a wrong place and I had quite a lot of because I'm just in a wrong place, guys. Yeah, so now, no, I think not like that. Let's see. On button click, as you can see, when the button is clicking, it's not common for that to make it focus. Maybe since it is on one line, you may feel that. Okay, what's the surprise, you may say? Yeah, so this button and this they are not close together, but for instance, if I click this will be active on focus. It just changed. Of course, we can also get the data out at the same time. If you want to get the data out, what we should do, console.log input l.current value. We should get the data out. It's active Finland. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, Finland. So now it's not the only way. The previous ways, this one, we call it controlled input. And this one, we call it uncontrolled input. It's hard to validate, but for some reason, sometimes we may need uncontrolled input too. That's why we use rough. But this is the controlled input is the kind of the input you use most of the time. So it's straightforward. Now, for instance, what do you do if you want to have another this? For instance, I may just change this to input for first name, and input for last name, and input for country. This is how you write it. And then you should modify it like this. This is going to be input for first name, input for last name, input for country. Then after that, for instance, using the submit, you may handle the data. So again, for, and that is on submit. We have the on submit still. Yeah, I think that we should have the on submit. Yeah, the prevent is a must. Yeah. Do we have this still? Yeah, because of this function. Now we don't need this function for time being. Now, as I told you, okay, let first name. Where is the first name going to? First name is going to be input, then current dot value. This is how you collect. It sounds like more of a DOM, right? The DOM guys, aren't you here? Okay, then I think I can change this to last name, and then you may change this to first name, input last name. Yeah, I think this this country. And then now we can console.log as an object, first name, last name, and the country. We may send it to the server or wherever we want. So let's see how it looks like. Yeah, but something doesn't work because the button is already now inactive, so it shouldn't work. But let's see now. Now we have this, and my name, Sabine, and the last name, type, and Finland is good. But again, I forgot to add the submit button. Just submit is enough. Just writing a button. Yeah, I think now, as you can see, have you seen? I managed to handle data like this. Oh yeah, great. Before we close this lesson, I want to show you one third-party package, and that's just a CSS package. We call it SAS, and how do we install? I will just show you CD WEEK-7 and CD hooks. React hooks. Yeah, yarn, maybe npm install, I think SAS, node SAS. What is this node SAS? It allows us to write SAS CSS. And what is, maybe if you don't know how to write also, we will see now just in 5 minutes only. And that will be the end of today's lesson. Yeah, so this is just, I rarely use this, the uncontrolled input. I just rarely use, maybe most probably I don't use. We can call this first name. I think we can go. Where's folder? And folder. And it's also good to add a label, right? Yeah, I'm just waiting. Oh yeah, so our SAS is ready now. To know if your package is installed or not, you should go to here and you have to see. I don't see it. Node SAS, do you see? I don't see it. But what does it say? Seems it's, where did I install it? Oh, I'm checking week 5.
We should go to week 7.
Oh yeah, guys. Okay. Let's see. Yes, it's installed. So that means, yeah, that means after this we can write CSS. Now we may have another folder, for instance here, and I call this folder, maybe I call it assets. In the assets folders, I may have different images. Image goes here, and styles, yeah, styles folder. So in this styles folder, maybe I can create for some maybe comment or for the header or something. And then, but let's just a test, yeah? I can say a header part, header.scss, okay? So it's, and we can create also in the meantime, just maybe a header component, header.js, and we can say RSF. Then I think I can create here, header, h1 React hooks. Yeah, so as you can see, now I have this. How did you write npm install? Yes, I will send you npm install and node SAS. Yes, I shared with you. Okay, now we have this. Just so we go to here and import it. Yeah. Import header from components and header. Now just let's work on just the header and let's import that. This is how we import. From where? To, I think we have to go assets, and then styles. And then what was the name? I think header.scss. Now let's see if everything is working. Yeah, everything is working. No, it seems to not. Why? Node SAS version is incompatible with or this. So version compatibility, we got some problems. So I think, what do you do when you get some kind of a problem? So I didn't have such a kind of a problem before. So it could be a very new problem for people. So I just do some kind of a search, and actually someone already might ask, as you can see, Stack Overflow, someone already asked like this. 475 people liked his. So you go to the answer, npm uninstall, npm install node SAS this, or if you are using YAR, do this. So what I should do, I have to do this. Yeah, a quick fix. YAR npm install node SAS. And then again, I copy this, and of course I'm in a rush. Sometimes you should really see your problem and the answer matches, but now I'm doing a quick fix. But the point is, Stack Overflow is full of solution for all the problems. I do different things that I have never done before. So how do I come up with lots of problems? So I get solution from Stack Overflow. It could be web or mobile or data science, machine learning, whatsoever problem you get here, solution. And another thing I want to show you, you have to come to see the when was the question asked. Okay, if you see here, it says that it was asked in the 31st of October 22. Do you think is it an old question? No,
No, it's not yet old.
Yes, it's very
It says less than 7 months ago.
Yes, so this is very good to check it, because most probably it's a kind of a solution. But if it's a question that has been asked like maybe 5 years, 9 years, 10 years ago, it may work, but don't be too much of that kind of solutions. Go for recent solutions. But if you are so desperate, go for that too. Okay, now we do this, and let's see. By the way, in the meantime, SAS, if you have never been in the SAS, CSS, if you have never been, this is their official website. They use variables to learn documentation. You can go and you can learn step by step. Yeah, sometimes this is our mixins. It's a kind of a function, as you can see. You have this button-based function. Variables, so you can declare variables. For instance, this is how you declare a variable, and you can call this a variable. For instance, as you can see, dot alert, 1 pixel solid, and you can call border dark, then that means you are using this color. And even this border dark is using this color, as in, yeah, and this is the opacity. It uses it as a color, and this RGBA, so this is the opacity. So you declare variables, and it makes you very productive, actually. Now let's see what we have. Okay, still we have some thing. I think in the meantime, also I can talk what we can do next week, because it's taking for some time. What can we do for next week? I think we do a refresher Now, as I can see that we have almost covered what we're supposed to cover. So next week, maybe we can revise the React router, and we can apply React hooks instead of the old way, and just to make additional routing classes. But the rest is actually, I have covered almost what we had here, but what we had on, but what is on 30 days of React is quite a lot. Okay, so I strongly recommend you to try that. I think there's some have been duplicated, but late is no longer. And if you see something like this, so the installation was not complete. So I have some issues, but still I would like to check this. What do I have? But it seems I have, don't know. Let's try it. If it's working. No, okay, it didn't. So that solution was not a very good solution. So we can see that next week together, because it's going too far and we have to stop. That's just supplementary, but you may try it also installing and installing it a couple of times, then it may work.